Hey guys, I'm Sam.
And I'm Yasmin.
And this is our podcast, All Things Delicious.
Each week we'll be trying out a delicious restaurant,
For some interesting food trends and share our honest reviews.
but that's not all.
Make sure you stay tuned for some unpackaging of our juicy chaos.
And keep an eye on our social media for the question of the week, which will be discussed every episode. And at the end of each episode,
We hope you guys can also get to know the raw and uncooked version of us.
so grab a drink
And a snack.
and join us as we blend the perfect mix of all things delicious.
Hi guys, we're at the Barley Mow today.
We are so excited.
Guys, how are we? Here we go.
Hey!
A few pints to get us in the mood.
Oh my
George, thank you so
gosh.
much.
Welcome to the Barley Mow.
The Barley Mow,
Cheers, all. Good to see you both.
Cheers, good to see you.
Cheers,
Well.
cheers. Thank you very much for inviting us down today.
Yeah.
We're the Barley Mow in Mayfair. So we've got 8 sites across Zone 1. It's part of Cubitt House, but I mean, this is the best one, obviously. That's why you're here. But we've also got the Orange on Pimlico Road, which is stunner.
I love that one, that is
Yeah.
stunning.
And
Also
then
recently refurbed, right?
Recently refurbed. They've got a really naughty cocktail bar downstairs, which is great fun. And then here is busy pub downstairs, really kind of elegant restaurant upstairs. It's good fun.
We actually invited one of our good friends, Olivia Bentley.
On episode 6.
I'm looking forward to the gossip.
Episode 6.
Hawkstone, am I right?
Hawkstone Lager, yeah. So from Chipping Norton, Jeremy's Lager. He's one of our regulars. He likes to come in and enjoy it.
Really?
He does, yeah.
Wow.
He ends up giving most of it away as well when he's here as well.
George, thank you so much for having us.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Come in, let's have some fun.
And we can't wait to eat the food.
All things delicious.
Welcome back to All Things Delicious. We are lucky enough to have Olivia Bentley here today.
Washed up register.
Everyone's missed Olivia Bentley.
What do we call Olivia, Auntie,
No, we're less of the
Liv.
auntie.
David Bentley?
David Bentley.
this David
David,
chat?
I don't know where it started, but every time I used to see Sam, we'd go, all right, David.
Because when you arrived and you were like, "Hey, David," to Sam, I was like, "Is
like
something wrong?" Because I
weird
don't think
joke.
that's his name.
It's also not very funny.
No, it's not. It's
really not.
a very random thing.
Um,
yeah.
No, but you've been missed. Everyone has been asking where Olivia Bentley is.
Where are
and
you?
she's here.
Where am I? Sending
Olivia,
my
where are
nude?
you?
Have they actually asked where I've been?
Oh my gosh! Everywhere I've gone, like anyone that I've met or something, and they're like, "Where's Liv or Main Chelsea?" Like we miss her.
That
on our
crazy nut
screens.
job.
No.
Should I make a return?
Do you think your time on Chelsea is completely... Because how many years did you do it for?
8 solid years.
8 long
Wow.
years.
And I didn't realise, but that's actually the longest anyone's ever done it.
Wow. Do you miss it?
Honestly, no. But I think I did do it for a really long time. And also, I'm 30 this year. I started it when I was 21. So I essentially
Yeah.
grew up on it. And also, I think what I struggled with was a lot of the people I originally started off as friends with were slowly leaving. And then I was like, obviously, I have you guys, I have Ruby and Emily and stuff. But the longer it was going on, the less I was like, I don't know. I just thought my life was heading in a different direction. And also now, because I've got my business, it's I couldn't do both.
Yeah, Jomo.
Jomo.
And so you're doing that full time?
Full time.
Wow.
Full time. I've also been asked to co-host Private Parts, which is
Oh
coming.
my
Right.
Oh, wait. That is honestly incredible.
Which is really exciting.
I think you on a podcast, I think people are just going to
Yeah.
jump at it.
We need to cheers on that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
with my mocktail.
Cheers.
Cheers to having you on.
Thanks.
And it's so
And-
lovely to see you.
Thanks.
Ooh, gosh, this is strong.
I really like
What
it.
snacks do you sweetie?
We've got oysters, we've got a sausage roll, and we've got, what is this? You said it, I don't know how
Welsh
to
rabbit.
I've never had that. Rabbit.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
It's like saying rabbit, but weirdly.
Yeah.
And then we've got the cod's roe.
And some delicious oysters. That
And-
sausage rolls. Oh.
So how do you do it in these podcasts? You order food, stuff yourselves, and to chat a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Sick.
go for lunch, we chit chat. If you're going out and something's not quite right, just say it nicely.
Yeah, say it nicely. That's
Say it
one
nicely.
thing. But that was my one thing that I don't. When people are rude to waiters and waitresses,
That is my-
it is my biggest annoyance. Ick.
Yasmin does it in a very
completely
kind
agree.
way.
That's good.
I do it in a kind way.
I'm too much of a pussy. I'm just like, I'll eat it.
I recently actually...
Or chicken.
No.
Some of these oysters
You know
are
they're an
delicious.
aphrodisiac.
Olivia, what is your favourite food? Do you know what I understand? What does Olivia eat when you're at home? What do you eat?
Packs of Marlboro Golds.
Packs of Marlboro Golds. Fantastic.
I'm not actually a massive foodie, but I've
Okay.
weirdly always managed to date people who know how to cook, which is good.
That's good.
But then, I only discovered I have an
So
oven in my
handy.
kitchen the other
Can
day.
It's like a
you
member of
cook? 'Cause
staff.
Can I cook? Are you joking? I went on a TV show and was
That's what
kicked
I'm
out
saying.
number 2.
You were kicked out, no.
But no, but I had to gut a fish. I thought I was going to learn how to sort of do basic things, not make a bloody chicken
Cheers.
Kiev and go and knock them back.
Liv, do you want an oyster?
No, I'm all right from here, thanks. Actually, watching you guys slither those down.
Those are really
Delicious.
good.
So fresh.
So you can actually tell when an oyster's fresh.
Well, yeah, because when they're not fresh, they smell pretty fucking disgusting. I'll be honest, I now go for the veggie roast.
Oh, the nut roast.
The nut roast.
My mum
No,
does
I don't.
that.
But I know, because I always feel a bit I'm not good with like massive portions. And you know when you ever go anywhere with the rest, they're like enough for 3 people.
I like that.
Yeah, I bet you do. But I'm just like
You're
little
like that,
bits.
Jasmine.
I like little snacky things. Like this for me is perfect.
Yeah.
I don't like massive meals.
And when you're like, what do you eat?
want
What's
this.
your like favorite?
Honestly, at home, what I would eat every day, I eat pretty the same thing every day. Like avo toast,
Yeah, nice.
pack of prawns,
Nice.
protein
of
bar.
prawns?
Yeah.
You do love a burger.
I've stopped eating meat.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
you're a
I eat
veggie.
chicken. No, I eat chicken. I just don't eat red meat. I find it very
Don't eat the sausage roll.
Do
I've
love
got
a
the
sausage
rare
roll,
bit
though.
for you, the cod's roe.
cheese toasty. I could honestly have a cheese toasty for the rest of my life every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want a rare
That's what
bit?
I made. You know when I did this cooking show, they were like, show your skills in the kitchen. I made him a fucking toasty and a Bloody Mary actually.
I would love to do a cooking.
You'd probably
I
be
love
quite
cooking.
good at it. It was
I
really
love
intense, though.
cooking.
Yasmin's a very good cook.
Oh, you could cook.
I'm probably a little bit better than Yasmin, yeah. Just like a sandwich.
I love a sandwich.
Just get me a
That's-
sandwich.
Just a
Or
little
salmon.
She said to me,
sandwich.
what are you having dinner? I said, I'm having a tuna and cucumber sandwich.
Or-
No, he always goes. I go, Sam, what are you eating tonight? He sends me a picture of his pan just filled with broccoli and asparagus, and he goes, "This is dinner." I go,
Yeah.
"I didn't know you were
I'm
an
quite- I like
animal,
that.
like a rabbit."
I
Yeah.
don't like the whole meal. Just give me the,
I like
the
that or a
greens.
bowl of Cocoa Pops.
A bowl
Yeah,
of
I
Cocoa
love
Pops.
cereal
I
for
love
dinner. It's my
cereal.
favourite thing.
Do you drink normal milk?
Yes, I drink pints of milk. I
Really?
could
So you're
honestly-
not like the oat almond?
No. I hate all that stuff. I find that horrendous. But milk, I just could literally have like a big old glass of it. I'm just like a small child, a little hot chocolate full bed.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about not drinking though. Like when you stop, you get this mad sugar craving.
So
I
you're now teetotal,
yeah.
and your decision to do that was just
I think last year I just had a really bad year, and I just not that booze was the cause of that, but I found myself drinking unnecessarily, and then I was like, right, I decided to do dry January, and then quite liked it, so sort of haven't had a drink since. But I don't know if I'm going to be teetotal for the rest of my life. Like I'm trying not don't really think about it like that. I didn't sit here being like, oh my god, I want to drink. It was more of
Yeah.
like I think it was a mental health thing because I was just really depressed. Like you guys saw me at the end of Australia, and it wasn't to do necessarily with the show, but I think it was like. I don't know. I was just at this weird crossroads where I didn't really know if I wanted to stay on the show, trying to figure out my business, kind of wanted not a relationship, but I think the show, so much of my life was made in Chelsea.
Yeah, because I think I remember. Obviously, we all lived together.
I miss living with you
in
guys.
Sydney.
Morning!
Yeah.
that wasn't that just the
It
best
was just the
best.
in our
funniest.
whole time being in Chelsea. That is the best as a dynamic.
Yeah,
the best
yeah.
house I've ever lived in.
It was just
honestly
so
incredible.
fun. It's weird those trips though, because then you leave and you go home and you're suddenly alone and you're like, where is everyone?
I know, but I remember being on those trips and like you were like, I've loved the show for so long, but like I think it's my time
To go.
and it's
Yeah.
not because I don't love
I
being
still-
here. And you know, a lot of people can sometimes leave main Chelsea and just slag it off.
I don't want to slag it off because also I would never have stayed on it that long if I didn't enjoy it. Like I loved it. I had the most amazing time on it, and we had like Ibiza and all those different series. But it was just I just done it for a long time. Like I needed a change. I think like 8 years to stay in the same thing is quite.
I
It's
mean,
a
8
lot.
years
It's
to
a
do
lot.
one job is a long time.
You're also quite iconic. Like I think everyone.
I don't know
loves
why everyone
to
thinks that,
watch
though.
An
No,
Olivia Bentley scene.
You are the queen of being Chelsea.
Because I suppose on the show you sort of have to be more confrontational when you don't agree with something.
You can't be 100% like nice, no opinions. You can't do.
God,
There's
that
no
would be
point
so
doing it.
boring,
The
yeah.
point
Can't
of
do
it
that.
is to be opinionated, and I think I am quite opinionated. But yeah,
I think all the opinions you probably wouldn't share.
yeah,
You
it's
end
the
up
sort of
share-
thing you say in your head, not
Yeah.
out loud. But in a weird way, I think it's a good thing. And the one thing I actually do think was good with the show is when it comes to relationships, there are certain things that you probably wouldn't really address in your day-to-day life within your relationship. But on the show, you kind of have to confront it. And I think there were so many, like, when I went through relationships on that show, issues that were brought to light and brought to camera, but in a way that was almost like therapy, like you had to address them, which actually does help. Whereas
Yeah,
like
cool.
some stuff you wouldn't really think about that much, and then further like you'd end up staying in a relationship that potentially you weren't actually that happy in, but when you were on the show and you were doing it, you would realise what wasn't right.
Well, I think when you're on a TV show where you're forced to kind of speak to your friends, you have to kind of open up. It almost you can't keep things in your head because
Yeah.
everyone sees it straight through you. You can't keep things private, like you said. Like sometimes in a relationship, you might exit a relationship way further down the line.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're main Chelsea, that is not a thing.
It does help you. It makes you more your like communication skills a lot better. Like that's one thing I could take away from it that is good. Because there are times that I normally would just let things slide, but because of the way the show is, you have to address certain things.
And also everyone's talking about it, so you
Yeah.
can't run away from
You
it.
can't really run away from it. I mean, yeah, we've had a bit of a
You had a bit of a nightmare. I haven't spoken to you about this. Sorry. Thanks for coming.
You are fucking welcome.
That is unreal.
It's good to properly catch up.
Yeah.
Is that great?
Try
Delicious.
it. I've never had a rarebit.
It's like a cheese
It's like a cheese toasty. It's so good.
What has been your highlight, main Chelsea?
My highlight. I loved all of it. I mean, the harder parts of it was when it came to relationship stuff. But the other side of it, like when you're single on that show, it's unbelievable. And you like the traveling. I think like that side was amazing. We did it like Ibiza was one of my favourite series because I was like, what were we? 23, 0 fucks given on the majority of
19,
stuff.
didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, just
Incredible.
rolling around.
If you're going to a place where there's so many distractions, I think you're going to get more drama if you're going to a quiet place. Like, let's say Corsica.
I loved all of these trips. Like, I had a blast.
You loved
doing all of
Corsica?
the one I
Wow.
didn't. I loved Sydney.
I
I
love
found
Corsica,
hard
not
though.
you.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Corsica.
Oh yeah, Corsica.
you
Sorry,
remember-
I actually just
Yeah.
remembered what happened.
I remember
me
that.
coming around the corner.
I could not believe it. I remember.
Did you know I was walking in at that point?
No.
No.
Because
I
was hiding in the bush. Had Ruby and I. We were like literally hiding in the bushes. They were like, "Don't say anything."
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is, for some weird reason, back then, I think I was just like, in a daze that I never thought that this was going to air on national TV.
The thing
I
that
didn't
about
care. It
that
was
situation that was
peculiar.
so off, or not off, that was wrong is that realistically looking back, I had no right to go in on you. Like there was no reason behind it. We didn't owe each other anything. The one who was the issue was my ex, but it was, do you know what I mean? But it was just because he wasn't there.
When people meet you, do they often think that you're different in real life?
People always go, "Oh, you're prettier in real life," and I don't know if that's like an insult.
a
I don't know
good.
what that means. And that I'm not as tall. I think everyone thinks I'm like 6 foot, but I think that's because I'm way taller than everyone else.
On Made in Chelsea, we all look taller, bigger. Do you remember?
We do actually all look
we
different.
went somewhere and someone was like to us, "God, you guys look a lot slimmer in real life."
I look so big on the
I
camera.
look so big. People are like, "Oh God, you've lost a lot of weight." I'm like, "But I just look bigger on
the
TV."
show, I looked haggard actually, and I didn't used to watch it because it used to make me a bit self-conscious about the way I look. I'm such a like creature of habit, like 5 a.m. walk, Pilates.
Well, yeah, this is what I find fascinating. This morning, I got a voice note at 6 a.m. from Olivia.
I'm one of those nutters who's part of that 5 a.m.
Did you go to bed early?
Yeah, in bed by 7:30.
Wow.
No, you're not.
I get into bed and then I'll watch something or do some emails or like plan what I've got to do the next day in terms of Jomo stuff.
And what's your favourite meal of the day?
Probably breakfast. I love but I
Really?
love breakfast, but later in the day, like 2:00. I love breakfast food.
Is there any like places in London, restaurant-wise, where you think that's my go-to? Any recommendations for everyone?
Breakfast Hallie's.
Yeah.
Convenient for me because it's around the corner. Hallie's is good.
Yeah.
Eggs Royale's my favourite.
Yeah, you always have an eggs royale.
Eggs Royale. Don't know what it is, that hollandaise sauce. That and pasta.
Where's your go-to pasta in London?
That Brasserie of Light in Selfridges.
Brasserie of Light. Is that
it
the
called
top?
Brasserie? Yeah.
I've been there.
Go there.
Alto.
Is it really good?
Alto?
I don't know what it's called. I went with Emily Blackwell
We
the
should
other day. That was really good actually. It's a massive restaurant in there.
Who would you say is your best friend from the show?
Probably Tiff, Ruby, and Emily would be my
Tiff,
three
Ruby, Emily.
core. Yeah, probably those two. Tiff's the longest standing. But what's weird is Tiff and I hated each other. Well, don't hate each other. We really strongly disliked each other when I first joined the show, and then became really close.
I feel like often I have that with people that I'm close to now. When I first met them, I just didn't quite vibe with them.
Yeah.
I was. I
I mean, you and I didn't vibe.
We did
had our own.
not vibe.
Oh well, I remember the first night in Sydney. I remember like, oh, this is gonna be a rocky road.
We still,
Rocky
even
road.
when we were going out to Australia, like we didn't.
But I always thought
still
you were
know each
scared
other.
of me. This is the other thing as well that I think in real life people don't realise. I think I'm
was.
really not that scary. But then
No,
whenever
Olivia,
you're asking, you can't.
You can be.
I can
I
be.
can
be.
But I'm not like that normally. Like I don't think people in the street. Although someone said to me the other day, saying, "I saw you driving your car and you looked livid," and I was like, I wonder if that's just too much both.
It was Monday morning.
No, I have to admit, you can be very intimidating when you don't know you, but you are actually really soft.
You're a big
Like,
softie.
you're a big softie.
But I have sat sitting in front of you filming me in Chelsea and I thought, oh,
You and I have had the
no.
biggest spat.
Yeah.
You're also so articulate that like it's sometimes really hard to have a conversation.
That I
with you
learned
and
from the
argue.
show, by the way.
How did you get on the show?
Sam Thompson.
Sam Thompson.
We were at school together, and then he joined, and I think he put me forward. And I'd been asked a few years prior, but I was like 18, and I think I was a bit young.
Yeah.
I still think actually when I joined, I was probably a little bit too young.
Well, how old
I
were you?
was for sure.
I think I got 20.
And what were you doing before you joined?
Photography. So I was like selling my
wow.
photography. Yeah. I wanted to do Chelsea to like promote my photography, but then I actually enjoyed the show so much. I started just doing the show.
It does become quite Moorish.
It is Moorish. But
Like
I
when you're
think it
single,
is-
it is Moorish.
Yeah. And it is, but I think you have a lot of fun with it. I think everyone's so negative about it. And it's like, realistically, we're on holiday all the time. Yes, I think mentally it can be exhausting and physically it's draining because the hours are long. But when you look at the bigger picture, it's a lot of fun.
Also, we are lucky. We've travelled the world.
Yeah.
We have seen so many places. We get to hang out.
And not everyone gets these opportunities.
No, we are so lucky. And
we all managed to launch our own businesses.
And like we're all of friends. We just go away on holiday and just chat.
Just chat
It's
shit.
incredible.
And I think there's gritty bits that people don't necessarily want to get into, whether like relationships. That is the harder part. And then you end up having this dynamic where you don't know, because we have signed up to putting our lives on a show, but then you've also got to remain loyal to the person that you're with. And especially if you're both like you guys, if you're both on the show, it is complicated because then you're sort of like, where do you draw the line of how honest you are with the show? But then that's what you're meant to be doing.
We had this issue of
Always like did our relationship on Made in Chelsea, like on the away trip.
Yeah.
So we didn't really ever figure out Sam and me, just us two.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
never figured out the two of us in a relationship, away from friends, away from filming, away from being abroad.
But also, when you meet that person on the show, the one thing you've got in common is the show.
It's the show.
And also, the thing that's hard, I found actually, and since leaving, is whenever I hang out with cast members, it's the only thing everyone talks about.
especially in our friendship group, it just goes.
But the problem is,
rapid.
it's not just that, because you share it with your friends who then give opinions. It then airs, and then you get the opinions of the general public on your Instagram. So then it's going from like what could be a minor issue between the two of you to something enormous, and then all you get is everyone giving you shit at every angle. And that's where I used to struggle with the show, is because and it wasn't actually the show, it was more the Instagram stuff and like some random people giving their insight into your relationship who know nothing about it. And it fucks with your head, because then you're suddenly like, well, hang on, am I this person? Honestly, for years, I had people saying to me, oh, the reason you've got so many failed relationships is because we think you're a closet gay. And I used to think, sorry, I've had an argument with my boyfriend and now apparently I'm hiding that I'm gay. Honestly, that I had this so often from people. They're like, you should just come out now. And I was like, so this
it almost makes you think. You see.
No, I didn't suddenly question my sexuality, but I suddenly was like, how have I gone from arguing over living together with someone to now being like, gay? Like,
no, but this is they comments. People speak about you as if they know you.
Yeah.
Also,
and that's frustrating.
Sometimes I think, am I in a fucking polyamorous relationship? Because I'm thinking everyone's in our relationship. They thought they know everything. I was like, you see me for half an hour once a week. Do you know what I mean? Not even that.
This is where actually, like, I fortunately I mean, in the beginning, I got slightly trolled on Twitter, but then towards the end, people were just quite nice to me. I don't know why, but Ruby, I would go in on the people who trolled her. I mean, I would actually go for them, because some of the shit that people say, I just think is unacceptable.
I think we should stop complaining.
Yeah.
I think it's a great experience. I think, yes, we're stressed, but it's stress with any job.
Yeah.
But it is fantastic.
Yeah, like all my friends work office jobs and they're like, oh, my manager's so annoying. I hate him. And it's like the same with us. Like we might hate.
What do you honestly think the three of us would be doing right now if we never did the show? I think I would definitely not have my own business. I know that for sure. Billy Elliot over
I don't know.
Yeah, with my tap dancer.
I don't know. What would I do? What could you honestly see
Well,
me
I
doing?
could see you as like an estate agent.
I think I'd stink of a estate agent.
Because
I
you
actually
quite
was
good
a
at
estate
selling
estate
shit.
agent. He was
just selling flats and just wearing a stupid suit.
I'd probably be doing the same.
Yeah.
I think we're all quite creative people.
I think you've done the show for so many years, but also you've launched a successful business. I feel like people would forget that, yeah, she's living for Main Chelsea, but she also has a very successful lube company.
Yeah.
We also, because we all hang out, everyone kind of comes from different backgrounds in the sense of what they've studied, where they work, and it's also quite interesting. We all learn from each other.
Yeah.
Like there's people in tech or
Jazz.
finance.
I haven't done that in years actually. Yaz.
You used to do that on purpose,
Yaz learned how to do the washing up because of me. Yasmin's face when I was washing up the dishes in Australia, she was amazed. Couldn't believe her eyes.
No, you should see Olivia Bentley. I
morning.
wake up in the morning and she's in the sink. She's cleaning her everything. And I'm like, do you need any help? No.
Waking
you
up
stay
to
there.
beer cans on the counters. I mean, you forget what it's like when you're honestly nearly 30 and you're living with a bunch of what feels like uni students. The one thing I cannot stand is when people have eaten plates like this, instead of chucking that food out, the plate just goes straight. People are putting plates in the sink.
I don't like that.
There's the food that then has to get scraped back out.
Yeah.
I'm a bit OCD with cleaning.
You were very like mummy, like the next morning go, oh no, Olivia Bentley. Right, team, in the living room in 10 minutes. Group meeting.
It was more like Big Brother, wasn't it? Can we all meet in the dining room,
The woman who
please?
lied. The woman who lied. The woman who lied.
The woman who lied.
I walked into Olivia's bedroom in the morning, and I saw by her bed it said "the woman who lied."
No, the
I
funnier
said,
one.
It's Liv's autobiography here.
Fuck up. The best one was after The Woman Who Lied, I read another book. Did I send you the next one?
What we do is with the book, I just hide it around the house, and it got to the point where
cut it.
it was in the lift, it was everywhere, and we even found ourselves on the beach reading "The Woman Who Lied."
It was everywhere.
there was-
No, it was when
Thanks,
we were.
Jasmine.
No, no. Put your oyster here and then
Thank you,
cut the
Susie.
sausage roll for us.
What was the one The Woman Who Lied? Oh no, and then the next one was The Couple,
The couple next door. But do you remember when Sam took a picture and there was this like random woman
On
in
the
Bondi
beach
Beach
reading my book.
reading your book, The Woman Who Lied? You're like, this must be a prank. But no, God,
There you go,
that is
Susie.
great.
Get your mouth around that. I'm
There
going to
you
have
go.
to another bit.
Sam, you
This thing is unreal.
No, and also the Cod's Roe is so good as well.
I've got a burning question.
Yeah.
How is the love life?
To be honest, I'm single. But I quite like being single. I think also basically my thing at the moment. So last year, from beginning to end, was an absolute shit show. Like in all honesty, it was. It was dark. It was a dark year for me. And this year, I just want to. I'm not one of those people who's like becoming a tree hugger and a hippie and like all this stuff. But I just want to do. I do enjoy being single actually, and I think that's from. Not that I was in an intense relationship, but I think my priorities right now are literally just business, health, and doing my thing. And I'm not a big dater, and I also am not that. I quite like being alone. Like I like getting up really early in the morning, and I don't. Basically, I'm on such a like good thing at the moment. I don't want to start entertain anything that's going to potentially affect that yet.
Do you want kids?
I do and I don't. I've heard so many people fucking complaining about their babies that I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, because how many? You're godmother of how many children currently?
3.
3.
Wow.
I think that's my role. This is the other thing. I keep get asked to be godmother
Who's
and
that?
maid of honour.
But who's God? Who?
So Ollie Locke and Gareth's son, Apollo, Tabitha's daughter, Ottilie, and then my business partner's son, Otis.
Wow.
Bella.
And ours as well soon.
And yours too.
And ours.
Yeah.
God,
You
yeah.
guys going to have a little baby?
We've thought about it. We've spoken about it this week.
We spoke about this week.
Sorry, no, this is what I draw the line at. I had a friend the other day turn to me and she goes, by the time you hit 30, if you haven't frozen your eggs, there's no point really. What? I thought you were joking.
Weirdly, someone else mentioned this. They were talking about their daughter to me the other day, and they were like, my daughter's turning 26. I said that she must freeze her egg soon. I thought, well,
No, everyone's losing the fucking plot. I'm not freezing eggs.
Yeah, well,
Oh
keep
my
going,
god,
come
it's
in.
delicious.
Wow, we've got the main courses.
Wow, look at this.
Wow.
Wild garlic.
That
That's
looks incredible.
incredible.
Cheese and onion tart.
Tarts.
Wow, we can still keep
Tarts.
Sweet tart.
Tarts in it.
This
Wow.
looks
Few
delicious.
tarts. Thank you so
It's
much.
incredible.
Wow.
Thank you, George.
I might have
Hi.
to eat one of those eggs.
You're one of.
One of 5.
Yeah, this is what I was going to ask. What is it like having Olivia Bentley as a sister?
I think at first they probably hated me when I joined the show. No, I don't think they hated me. But we're all really close in age. As in, like, there's 3 of us within 3 years. And then the 2 younger ones. What's it like? Don't know.
You have an amazing family dynamic.
We're all really close, which I really like. And I think we've gone through the phase of, like, the fighting phase, where now we're all, like, best mates. Like, I speak to Cordelia every day. She'll ring me every 5 minutes.
A lot of articles saying that you might be coming back or you're taking a
Yeah.
break.
I think I needed a break anyway, but I did a long old stint on there. And I think the show can find. They need someone. I've aged.
I guarantee they won't find another Olivia Bentley.
They probably can. I think they
I
can.
don't think so. There is no one I've seen doing scenes. with- There's no one quite like this.
No one who's stuck around as long as me.
There's no one who's still there.
I mean, that's the problem. I was stopping. Everyone was started moving on, having babies and kids. And where's Liv Bentley? Oh, she's still fucking on in Chelsea.
She's in Bishop Park doing,
She's
doing a cycling scene.
Oh, God. I never forget it when I didn't really know you and I
Oh my
ripped
god!
off
They tried to make me put
filming.
knee pads on a bicycle.
This
I
is actually-
was like, this has to be a joke.
This is actually, we had a scene. I remember it was me, you, and
Inga.
your ex. Yeah. Sorry. And
I
we
love
all-
it, by the way, whenever we all know whose each other's exes are, but instead of saying their names, you just go, yeah, your ex.
Your ex.
Yeah.
Well, it was also such a taboo, I find, to like name people's names.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like your ex.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we all had a nice cycling scene on those bloody Brompton bicycles in the park. Sorry, if I sort of met you. You can laugh about it
Do you-
now.
oh my god! Do you remember in Sydney we had an argument about you guys gallivanting on the island together?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, what actually happened in Sydney? What was going on between the two of you?
We
was
were
all a
having
bit
we were
weird.
having an affair.
I know. I honestly thought you guys would get. I'm giggling.
That would be rogue.
What's your favourite part of the meal?
I liked that Welsh rarebit. Those look delicious. I might have to eat
Try
them.
Scotch egg.
Go. Anyone who's going through a breakup out there, what is your breakup
Tip for going
advice?
through
'Cause
breakups.
every time I've been through a breakup, the
ring
first person I've called is Olivia.
You know what's so interesting? 'Cause I get so many DMs from people asking for advice, and I'm like, but I've had 2 massively failed relationships. The one thing actually, my most recent ex, I stopped drinking. This was last year. I stopped drinking for about 3 weeks. Booze just doesn't help situations when you're going through a breakup. And I think everyone's like, oh, go out, be sociable. Don't go and do any of that stuff. Because that's what I did the first time around with a different boyfriend. It's just, I think the best thing to do is, and also stay off your phone. Social media, and I would sit and scroll for hours just racking up anxiety. Worst thing for you to do.
You have dealt with alopecia in the past.
Yeah.
How's the journey been? Because your hair just looks so thick.
Journey.
Yeah.
This is a clip-in bun. It's not actually mine. So
Really?
yeah, but that was the one good thing. That was another good thing about the show actually, is that I got to speak about it. Speak about the fact that I had alopecia, which at first I was very nervous of, because I didn't want people to be like, oh, because originally when I joined, I would get horrible tweets saying, you bald bitch, go and grow some
Really?
fucking hair. It was awful. And that was Twitter, because Instagram wasn't as big then. And then eventually I started wearing wigs on the show. So then I started to talk about why I was wearing the wig. But basically, I got it from going on the pill, apparently, but then also weirdly, recently I had like a bit of therapy, and they said, did anything traumatic happen to you in your childhood? So I don't know if something, because it can be a result of trauma. So
That's
it could
what
also have been something else. I can't really remember. I mean, this was over 10 years ago, so I don't really know what was going on at the time. The one thing with the show that I did really like, because I found it odd at times when people were like, oh, can I get a photo with you? And I'd stand there and be like, why? I haven't done anything. I literally haven't done anything remarkable at all. But when people would come up and talk about the hair thing, saying like, oh, you really helped my daughter, that's when I actually felt like it was worth doing something. Like I actually achieved something with it.
Do you feel like it's hard to have a successful relationship on Made in Chelsea?
I mean, because I had 2 big failed ones. Yeah, it's probably, but I think that was probably more my dedication to Made in Chelsea, if that makes sense. Like,
Right.
I wanted the show to be good.
Yeah.
And I still, even though I'm not on it, I still think the show is great. But I would put my heart and soul into making it funny and making stuff. But when you're in a relationship, you have to remind yourself, and I would forget about that other person. And I think that caused friction in my relationships. And I remember, like, even with Digby, and I look back now, and like Digby and I are friends now, and we actually see each other all the time. I love Digby. I mean, at the time, I probably put him through hell, but because I was that bit younger, I sort of didn't really know how to juggle it all, which does make it harder.
Do you find dating now a lot harder because you've been on a reality TV show? Like when you date now, do you find
Can I be
that
honest?
hard?
I don't date. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I would find it actually quite daunting, because I'm not really, the other thing is, because I'm not drinking, I'm not that sociable. So in the evenings, and I don't want to go out and hang around a load of drunk people. So I don't really, that side, like, aspect of my life, I mean, I need to work on that, being sociable without the booze. But yeah, dating, I've never enjoyed dating. That's why I always end up probably, like, honestly ringing up one of my exes for a cheeky bang.
That's like,
That's because I'm a sex addict. I mean, I own a sex company, don't I? And the funniest, so I went back on Hinge.
no, stop.
I went on Hinge.
You're on Hinge?
Loads of people DM me going, someone's made a fake account of you. It's actually me.
Why should you get on Hinge? Why
I
not?
do it more for fun. I actually have never gone on a Hinge date.
I imagine Liv Bentley rocking on a Hinge.
I did one, Tiff Watson and I, this is my favourite. Tiff Watson and I, it was during lockdown, and we were like, right, let's just man up and do it. So we both arranged these Hinge dates, literally 2 trees in Parsons Green. And I was like, you go over there, I'll go over here. Anyway, hers I think was pretty questionable. Mine was great. I actually still talk to the guy. I said, do you want to come back? We can hang out. It's quite a fun night.
Would you recommend dating apps?
I don't know, because you look at people like Tiff, who met Cameron, I think, online, and then married. Yeah, I think
Sounds so creepy
he
online.
DM'd her. No, he DM'd her, and so you hear these like amazing stories. It depends on what sort of person you are, but like I personally, because I'm a massive fucking pussy, would rather meet someone through a friend. Like actually, because
Yeah.
I think I'm not good at, if I suddenly was texting someone on an app and then going to actually meet them.
Do you want to struggle
years ago.
Did we?
Believe it.
Oh, I'm gonna forget.
Okay, right, I'm gonna actually have to go and let you guys eat.
Right,
Olivia, thank you. I feel like you're in your new chapter. You seem so happy. You have this new aura around you. Thank you so much for coming on. We're so lucky to have you
for
on.
having me.
Thank you, and I know you got to rush off, so we're going to continue with the food.
You guys stuff yourselves.
We will, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Okay, so today on the menu we've got the beef pie and mash We have the lemon sole mussels and saffron velu. We've got some cream leeks. We have asparagus. And we've got the Roscoff onion and ragstone tart. And look at these chips. They're huge. Anyway, should we tuck in?
This feels like fine dining. And I have to say, I know we always kind of give good reviews, but for me, the ambiance in here, also what you can't see, these beautiful windows, and in the morning the sun's rising and the light just comes into the whole room, and it's just a beautiful place to be. I'd have to give this, for me, as a pub food, it feels like fine dining. Also the drinks, they have a wonderful set of lagers. They will do Hawkstone lager, which is Jeremy Clarkson's lager. I'm a big...
What's that?
Do you not know what that is?
Never heard of that.
Hawkstone lager, Jeremy Clarkson does Clarkson's Farm. It's one of my favourite shows. It comes out next month, and they do their lager here, which I've never tried it before, so I'm going to go down straight after this and try that.
What would you rate the food out of 10?
This for me is an 8 out of 10.
Really? For me, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. For a pub, if I'm thinking about going to a pub, I think this is fantastic pub food with the ambiance, with the lagers. I think it's a fantastic collab all round.
You know, for me, it's actually a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
I think, honestly, George Dean, by the way, he's the GM of this Cubitt. So these are part of the Cubitt House, and they've got 8 pubs around London.
Yes.
You know, the classic Alfred Tennyson. You've got Thomas Cubitt in Belgravia.
The beautiful Orange in Pimlico, which we would love to do a podcast there at some point. That's probably one of our favourite pubs, and near the Chelsea area. It's wonderful in there.
If you had to have dinner with one celebrity, who would you choose?
Who would I choose?
Rita Ora.
Rita Ora.
I don't know.
Is Rita Ora still? Is she still saying? What does she do now? I'd probably choose someone I could have an intellectual chat with, dead or alive.
Either.
Who could I pick a few people?
Go on then.
I would like a conversation with Brad Pitt. I want to know how he's kept his lid so good for so many years.
Yeah.
I looked the other day and I was like, his hairline's getting better with age. I don't think I quite like it.
You look like a young Brad Pitt.
I look like a Butters Brad Pitt. Yeah. Brad Pitt from Wish. I feel so fat in the face today.
Fake one.
Who else would I love to have? David Attenborough. I imagine him on the podcast documenting us eating. It would just be phenomenal. I think he's
away.
a gentle... No, he hasn't.
He has.
No, he hasn't.
Guess how old he is?
He's alive!
97.
I told you. He's back, baby! Another person who I'd love to have a chat with is... I'm trying to think someone great. Buzz Aldrin, he's still alive. He went to the moon. I didn't quite...
Sorry, I wasn't expecting
I love space at the moment. I'm obsessed with space. I also would have loved to have met the Queen.
You should go to the moon.
I think she did. She served our country. I'm not a big royalist, but I'd love to meet the Queen. I think she'd be so interesting to me. And Obama, I think he'd be incredible. I think he's a bit of an idol. And Johnny Depp, I think she'd be probably interesting to have at a dinner party. I'm sure he has lots of chats, which would be interesting.
That's nice. Sam shows the whole world.
If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be? Dead or alive?
For me, it would probably be Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, love
I'd
that.
love to know the ins and outs of her life.
Yes, how she
she was,
died. I'd love to know.
She was such this glamorous woman and was beautiful. I would like to know I'd love to have dinner with her.
What her beauty regime was.
I would like to just know a lot about her. I think she did live quite a sad life internally. Who else would I like to meet? Amy Winehouse.
Oh, that is a fantastic one.
She's Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse is just incredible. I went to her exhibition a few years ago and I was just loved it.
I would also love to meet Whitney Houston.
Oh, Yasmin, these are
Yeah.
Whitney.
Right, let's talk about Ep 2, shall we? Because I think that's a massive elephant in the room. It just came out.
I want to share everything with you guys, and we do that on Main Chelsea. Everything you see on TV with us, is our lives and what happens. I think Ep 2 is a real tricky one for us. At the back end of last year, we went through a rocky patch.
Yeah, I think in life, everyone in a relationship, you do go through rocky patches. And sometimes, we have a break from filming. We might not necessarily go to the people that we film with during that time. Sometimes you keep things between you. We had a 2-month break, and sometimes you don't have to go into the ins and outs of your relationship because when we started filming, we were absolutely fine. We were in a complete new page of our life. We'd got back together. It was we just went through a little break of not really figuring one in.
I think what it came down to is the fact that we worked very well when we were living together each other the whole time. But when me and Yasmin have found each other, it's always been when we've been on holiday. And it never has been when we have been in London, in our working lives and in our separate homes, we've never really quite worked it out.
Hey, don't get us wrong. We had a great time on holiday together.
Great, but we weren't clicking like we were. And I think we got back to London and it was a shock. Like, how do we manage to get these? I feel like they were like amazing holiday romances, but when it came to the real life, we just didn't work. And it was like, we couldn't really find our feet with it. I was very unsure if Yasmin wanted to be with me, and we weren't. We're normally on the phone the whole time, messaging each other, always hanging out, but we just didn't click.
No.
And I'll be honest, I did lie to a lot of our friends and say, we're all good, we're happy. And I kept lying to everyone because I was like, in the back of my mind, I thought potentially I hoped so much that we'd sort it out, but we couldn't seem to find our way. I sit here and Yasmin is the love of my life. I see my whole life in front of me when I hang out with Yasmin. And it's like, I think it was just a tricky stage in our relationship. Yes, I do regret what happened and what you guys have all seen. We weren't together.
Then again, regret what happened. If I'm not being funny, you didn't do anything per se wrong, but it's still hurtful in any
I think it's hurtful in any circumstances. I think it's also very difficult because it's out in the whole world that that happened. And I think it tarnishes our relationship and where we are now. It was a long, long time ago. I love Yasmin.
Yeah, I love Sam, and I also think there's so many misconceptions. Like, people think, "Oh God, you're so silly, are you blind?" It's like, hello. It's like sometimes so frustrating. It's like you don't know the ins and outs. Yes, you see what goes on national TV, but nobody knows the ins and outs. And I find it so frustrating when people kind of speak about us as if they know us or they know our situation. Yes, he's got a past of his own. Sam has, so have I. But like, people need to move on and accept that we are together. Like, people just need to accept that and just move on and stop like down our throat.
And I think it's like we've been through a lot as a couple, and I think we've shared most of it, I think, with you guys. And I feel like it was a shame to kind of relive that last week and go relive the bad times of our relationship when I was unsure and Yas was unsure, and we're in a very lost moment in time. And I feel like,
and I think we were just like, we loved each other but didn't really click. And then it's like we finally clicked. It was like, New Year. We kind of then decided to say, like, let's make this work. We loved each other so much, and we were like, let's make this work. And then it's like we started doing all things.
I think the thing that clicked,
so many things.
One of the things that clicked, I feel like, was my relationship I had with your family. Before, I never really had that, and I feel like I think after everything that's happened in our relationship, there's been so many ups and downs. I think we finally clicked together, and I feel like I got on well with your mother, and we kind of just all kind of came together. And it was like a really special time in January we had, where it was like we were just having sleepovers for nearly a month and just working together, and it was just filled with this love.
I think that's definitely true. I think I'm very close with my mum and very close with family, and like my mum's like my best friend. And I think when things were happening and quite negative between us on TV, and your family watching that, sometimes very hard for them to understand why you are with that person. And for me, naturally, I was having like doubts. I was like, gosh, maybe everyone is right or whatever, what am I doing? And then it was like it all clicked together. My mum got to know you as a person, and it just changed. Something switched, and it just changed from like being silly with this guy on Made in Chelsea, and the way we started was so chaotic, and it went from just fancying someone that I work with on the show and like clicking to like, oh God, this is actually like my little home, like my future. Like, we're in a different headspace, and I like never looked at you and thought that. I saw you at like parties or whatever, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, not that bloke. Oh. But I think I'm grateful to be in this relationship, and I feel like I'm so lucky about all the things that are happening, and finally I feel like I've turned a new chapter with you.
Yeah.
And like, I love you.
I love you too. I think we're speaking to everyone else so much right now. Like, I think it's also like we wanted to kind of like speak to you guys. I don't know if anyone's watching.
I think we kind of wanted to address it a little bit and just to state what actually happened. We did have a bad time in our relationship. It was documented on Made in Chelsea, and we're here today, and it's normal to have that relationship.
But hey, often every relationship goes through ups and downs, but yeah, ours is on TV.
Also, did I hate the fact everyone thought I cheated on Yasmin? It was the most painful thing watching that back.
Also, Sam's got such a past with him, but like,
no,
you have such a past, so it was like, of course, it's gonna be viewed in a certain way. But anyway, you're a different human being. You've grown up a bit, and
grown up a little bit.
Bring up the rest of the series. So much happens. In
So
the
much
rest of the
happens,
series.
and I feel like hopefully you'll get a more understanding of us and who we are as people.
Because a lot of people meet us and they're like, "You guys are not what I was suspecting in real life."
Yeah, Yasmin's I think way more stunning in real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you letting me on the podcast?
No.
Enough about Ep 2. We're moving forward. That's our past.
We're in our new era.
No.
Thank you so much to Barley Mow. Thank you for Olivia Bentley for coming on. Yasmin, thank you for being my favourite person in the world, and I love you. And thank you to everyone who listened. Please like,
share,
subscribe,
and we love
6,
seeing
baby.
all your comments. And do you know what? We finished Ep 6. Woo!